Some healings are not meant to live on the surface. Some souls were born to dive, to touch the bedrock of feeling, and plant invisible roots that hold relationships with the quiet strength of something that intends to stay. That is Cancer at its essence, not a sign of loose words, but of gestures that soothe, presences that shelter, silences that speak without asking permission. Ruled by the moon, Cancer breathes in phases. Moods shift with the tide. Intuition rises and falls like seawater finding the shore. Affection is protective, instinctive, almost ancestral, and the heart does not fear depth. In truth, it longs for it, like someone reaching for warmth on a cold night. Love for Cancer is never distracted. It studies the small signs other people forget to notice. It listens for what was not said out loud. It recognizes feelings that others try to bury beneath the cleverness of their daily masks. To love as Cancer loves is almost a spiritual craft, a devotion that reads the other person's soul with eyes closed, because feeling is its most fluent language. Yet, not every soul is ready for that type of connection. Not everyone can bear a love that asks for presence, transparency, reciprocity, the kind that requests real growth within the bond, not just cinema kisses and a few bright fireworks. Compatibility for Cancer then doesn't end with taste, chemistry, or a quick laugh at a shared joke. It asks for soul, for emotional maturity, for someone who knows how to be here, not only on their best days, but also when the sea turns and the waters of life are higher. Cancer is not searching for any romance. Cancer seeks a sanctuary, somewhere it can exist without shrinking down, where emotion is not labeled as excessive, but honored as precious material, where memory matters and tenderness is considered a form of intelligence. If this is already stirring something in you, breathe into it. And if your heart recognizes these tides, consider subscribing to Signs and Secrets now so you don't miss the journeys we open here together. This channel is a place where your feelings are respected and your intuition is welcome at the table.
Cancer hopes for a partner who understands the holiness of a shared memory, who isn't afraid to cry together, who knows how to listen to what only silence can say. For Cancer, love is a home, a lap, an in-depth that chooses to remain. Astrology, this old map of archetypes, rhythms and echoes, points to a few signs that harmonize with the lunar frequency of Cancer. 4 in particular tend to speak the same ancient tongue, a language woven of emotion and empathy, of promises that don't need to be shouted to be kept. When these archetypes meet Cancer, attraction is not merely sparkle, it is an activation, a stirring of something that recognizes itself. We will travel through these 4 sacred encounters. We will enter combinations that turn relationships into portals for healing, devotion, and transformation. And if, at any point, you feel called by a memory of such a love, share your date of birth and your zodiac sign in the comments. Your story might reach another heart that still believes love is a sacred path. If you sense this message is opening a window inside you, remember that Signs and Secrets exists to honor that opening. Each message is a mirror for your inner world. Each video a reminder that real love is not extinct, and it always begins within. Our first pair opens with intensity and mystery, Cancer and Scorpio. Both are water. Both carry in their chests a sensitivity that not everyone understands. And both know that when they join, they are not just starting a relationship, they are waking a karmic thread, a deep, almost hypnotic bond that seems older than their names. Cancer brings lunar shelter, that tender affection that turns into emotional protection. Scorpio arrives with the gravity of someone who loves like they are confronting death itself, unafraid, without reserve, and with no plan to turn back. The first look often feels like a light being struck in a quiet room, as if they had waited lifetimes to meet again.
Scorpio is magnetized by Cancer's emotional purity, by the way Cancer gives without masks or small manipulations, offering the raw truth of feeling. Cancer, in turn, is profoundly moved by Scorpio's emotional power, a sign that hides its wounds but holds a visceral hunger for fusion. Together, they practice a living alchemy. Cancer teaches Scorpio to soften, to trust the tenderness that does not weaken but heals. Scorpio teaches Cancer to stand in its full power, to face the personal underworld and refine fear into inner strength. Their exchange is never ordinary. It is sacred. In intimacy, their bodies remember an old language. Cancer offers warmth, devotion, emotional surrender. Scorpio offers intensity, desire, total presence. Together, they build a field where love becomes medicine, where pleasure is also soul connection. But this is not a story for the faint-hearted. Both must choose trust. Both must open without armor. Both must remember they are not fighting each other. They are standing side by side against ghostly scripts they carried from childhood. When they choose growth, they become one of the zodiac's most formidable pairs, a mirror of depth, loyalty, and emotional transcendence. If this resonance is moving your inner waters, take a gentle moment to like this video now. That simple gesture helps this message reach others who might be searching for the same language of care and devotion that you value. When water finds fertilized earth, there is no disaster, there is flourishing. So it is with Cancer and Taurus. This is not a love that explodes, it blooms. It does not shout, it takes root. A relationship built quietly, patiently, like preparing a nest meant to last. Taurus, ruled by Venus, carries a devotion to love, beauty, and tangible life. It seeks security, pleasure, and constancy. Its strides are grounded, its words considered, and its gestures carry the calm wisdom of time. That steadiness captivates Cancer because beneath the waves, Cancer longs for a harbor, a place where emotion can be received without fear, without haste, without judgment.
Cancer comes with lunar nuance. Tides rise and fall, sometimes without a forecast. Yet in the steadiness of Taurus, something inside Cancer relaxes, as if it can finally rest in arms that do not run when the weather turns. In daily life, this pairing is a delicate blend of nurturing instinct and a need for stability. Cancer offers the warmth of affection and intuitive care, the soft light in the window at the end of a complicated day. Taurus offers structure, reliable rhythm, and protection you can touch. While one nourishes the soul, the other keeps the roof solid. While one dreams, the other plants. Together they build a home where love has strong walls and windows open to the sky. Their devotion doesn't require declarations from rooftops. It speaks through everyday tenderness, the tea steeping without being asked, the blanket pulled in the night, the look that says, "I'm here," even when the world spins too fast. Simplicity for them is not small, it is essential. In intimacy, Taurus and Cancer weave something sensual and steady. Taurus is tactile, slow, abundant in the savoring of time. Cancer turns that space into presence, emotion, and safe surrender. There is no rush here, only the exquisite human pleasure of inhabiting each moment fully. Every touch feels like a little temple, a meeting point where body and soul are not divorced. Taurus teaches Cancer not to become lost in the rise and fall of feeling, modeling that love does not need spectacle to be real, and that silence can sometimes be more honest than 1,000 phrases. Cancer teaches Taurus to look beyond the visible, to soften the edges, to trust the flow of emotion. In their balance, heart and matter are both respected. The routine stops feeling like a cage and becomes a ritual. The love ceases to be something still and becomes a home. If you have ever lived a connection where touch healed, where the daily rhythm felt like poetry, where quiet turned into a kind of communion,
Share your date of birth and zodiac sign below. Perhaps you have already danced this sacred dance of Taurus and Cancer in your own story.
And if this content is stirring clarity or comfort in you, remember that you can subscribe to Signs and Secrets to stay with us as we open more of these cosmic doors. What we do here is not fast food astrology. It is soul work with language you can carry into your life. Now another portal opens, a connection that can appear modest at first glance, but reveals a rare, resonant harmony. Cancer and Virgo. Not all love begins as wildfire. Some unions arrive like a soft breeze that becomes a steady wind, a shy gaze that matures into committed presence. That is Cancer with Virgo, a construction. A love unveiled in details, in small gestures, in the considerate motions that only attentive eyes can capture. At first, their differences are obvious. Cancer is heart-forward, intuitive, emotional. Virgo is mind-forward, observant, and devoted to order. Yet the secret of their bond lives in this contrast. They do not cancel each other, they complete each other. Each teaches the other to view life through a lens once thought too distant. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, holds a precise analytical intelligence. Its love is not loud, but it is reliable, consistent, and deeply loyal. It expresses care by tending, fixing what is crooked, organizing the visible so the invisible can breathe. Virgo notices what others miss, and that level of attention is a profound act of love for Cancer. Cancer answers with waters that melt Virgo's defenses, listening with sensitivity, offering instinctive empathy, wrapping Virgo in an embrace that whispers, "You don't have to be perfect to be cherished." In Cancer's circle, Virgo can exhale, allowed to be gloriously human rather than flawlessly correct.
In daily living, they create something solid and gentle. Cancer tends to the emotional climate of the home. Virgo tends to functionality, to what must be named clearly to remain clean and true. One stirs the soup, the other lights the candle. One remembers an aunt's birthday, the other pays the bill on time. It becomes a space where even imperfections seem to arrive at the right hour. In intimacy, their music is slow building. Virgo surrenders gradually once it trusts there is respect and truth in the room. Cancer understands that rhythm and never forces the opening. When their surrender happens, it is unique in depth. Each look, each pause, each touch turns into a form of care. Their lovemaking is not merely physical. It is a careful meeting of inner worlds, almost therapeutic in what it awakens. Of course, they face challenges, as all couples do. Cancer may fear Virgo's coolness, Virgo may feel Cancer elevates drama. But with respectful dialogue and a genuine desire to grow, obstacles turn into bridges. Virgo learns that feeling is not the enemy. Cancer learns that clarity is a form of kindness. Through one another, both expand their emotional education. This is a relationship that strengthens with time, that reveres small rituals and the overlooked details. The coffee poured without being asked, the whispered compliment after a grueling day, the hand at the back right when it's needed. In those tiny instances, their love takes root. If you recognize yourself here, if you once had a Virgo who organized the chaos of your life, or a Cancer who read your soul when you lacked words, write your date of birth and your sign in the comments. Your experience might help another heart trust that love can be built through patience and truth. And if you haven't yet, this is a kind reminder to like this video now. Your support keeps this energy flowing to more people who crave not just horoscopes, but soul-level connection, the kind we honor at Signs and Secrets.
We near the end of our crossing, but a special door remains. An ethereal, quietly mystical union that often feels like prayer set to ocean sounds. Cancer and Pisces. When Cancer meets Pisces, the sea recognizes itself in the mirror. Both speak the language of compassion. Both understand that softness is not weakness. It is the courage to stay open in a world that rewards numbness. Cancer brings the safe harbor. Pisces brings the cathedral of imagination. Cancer anchors, Pisces enchants. And when their currents weave, something holy hums, an atmosphere where tenderness is intelligence and forgiveness is a chosen art. In everyday life, Cancer holds space for the fragile and the precious. Pisces color washes that space with music, images, and dreams that make suffering bearable and joy more vivid. Cancer protects the shell of the life they are building. Pisces protects the light inside it. When conflict arises, Pisces teaches Cancer to float rather than sink, to let the wave pass instead of wrestling it. Cancer teaches Pisces to return home when drifting becomes escape, to choose presence over fantasy when someone they love needs them now. Their intimacy is watercolor, edges blending, colors deepening, moments lingering in memory. When this pair remembers to ground together, money, boundaries, sleep, scheduling tenderness like sacred appointments, they become living proof that empathy can fortify rather than drown us. And yet, life is a circle, and as we close the water trilogy, Scorpio, Taurus the earth harbor for that water, Virgo the mind that steadies it, Pisces the echo of divine mercy, another voice rises unexpectedly, like a breeze through an open window. Few notice it at first, but Geminis are not here only to entertain with light talk or brighten rooms with easy laughter. They carry a subtler teaching: how to find poetry in chaos, how to dance with doubt, how to smile through rain, how to rebuild the sandcastle exactly as the wave recedes. Gemini moves like a comet, appearing, blazing, changing, and then gone, but never forgotten. Life beside Gemini becomes a collection of luminous instants, so intense they feel eternal while they last.
With Gemini, you feel everything at once: tenderness and confusion, warmth and chill, clarity and paradox. Inside that mosaic lives the true gift, the reminder that living is exactly this: navigating extremes without losing center. Behind the quick wit and curious eyes, pains hide that few ever witness. Gemini often feels everything accelerated, feels for 2, thinks for 3, fights for 4, and goes silent for 5. Not because connection isn't wanted, but because Gemini has accepted that not everyone is ready to touch the margins of their heart where the truth is not linear. There is something deeply spiritual in those born under the twins, something that surpasses what is obvious. Gemini lives in 2 realms, the visible and the invisible. One gaze in the present, one ear bent to the future. An intuitive comprehension of human nature makes them hard to deceive. If they pretend not to notice, it is to preserve what is still tender. If they keep quiet, it is to avoid harm. When they leave, it's often because the lesson that could be delivered from the heart has already been given. Even in their absence, Gemini leaves traces: laughter in the air, phrases that return days later, a mind remapped by a question you cannot unhear. It is almost alchemy. Sowing ideas seems part of a silent treaty with the universe, and everyone they encounter is reshaped in some small, meaningful way. Have you been changed by a Gemini? Have you smiled without realizing it when a line of theirs flashed across your memory? Have you missed a conversation only to discover it reordered your thinking after the fact? That is the gentle inheritance of Gemini, marking souls with lightness, teaching through humor, healing through words. Gemini is master of impermanence, expert of the love that doesn't cage, the touch that awakens without enslaving, the look that understands even when the picture is blurry. Gemini is bridge, wind, language, change. This is why Gemini is envied. Their essence is freedom, their legacy wisdom, and their presence reminds us that life wants movement.
And when Gemini goes, as they often must, the space they leave is a summons. Don't be so stern with the miracle of being alive. Don't cling so tightly that your hands forget how to open. Don't confuse rigidity with loyalty to yourself. Give yourself permission to change, to be 2 things while you are becoming a third. Begin again, even when others don't understand.
The living art of life is reinvention. Thinking can be love, changing your mind can be growth, laughter can be defiance, speaking can be medicine, and loving is freedom. As you sit with these pairings, Cancer with Scorpio, Taurus, Virgo, and Pisces, and the unexpected wisdom of Gemini threading through the air, ask yourself which tide your soul recognizes. If a memory glowed while you listened, share your date of birth and your zodiac sign in the comments. Your presence deepens this circle. If along the way you felt held or seen, subscribe to Signs and Secrets so you can return to this sanctuary whenever you need a reminder that your emotions are worthy, your intuition is wise, and your rhythm is holy. And before you go, remember to like this video now so this message finds the people who have been waiting for it without knowing why. Your simple act helps keep this ocean of care alive, for you, for the ones you love, and for all who are learning, slowly and bravely, to love as if it were a sacred path.